how many of you are familiar with this Karaniya Metta Sutta? Only one person familiar. Two. The rest, okay, three. The rest like hardly read. Right? Okay, so the thing we chanted, this Karaniya Metta Sutta is actually meditation instruction, how to meditate. But because people keep chanting and chanting, then people think, okay, this is just for chanting only. Actually, not for chanting. It's at least in the Buddha's time, when the people they understand that language or close to the Pali language, so when they chant, it's immediate kind of reflection. But nowadays we chant, then people may not know what they are chanting, right? So there's some pretext to the story. Some people say that because there was this group of monks during the Buddha's time, they go to the forest and they meditate. Then these three deva, the three spirit, were not so welcoming on them, very territorial. So they come really then, maybe in the night time or what, then these three spirits will make scary images, scare the monks away. And then the monks have to come back to the Buddha, ask for help, how to solve this this spirit problem. This spirit problem. So the Buddhist way is not to catch the ghosts, not to fight off the ghosts, but this is the instruction. Radiate this loving kindness. And a lot of times, because of this story, people take this Karaniya Metta Sutta out of context. They think this chanting this is to remove ghost problem. It's to remove ghost problem. But if you read this right from the start, the instruction is not to remove ghost problem. So right from the start, right, he who is skilled in doing good wishes to attain the state of calm, nibbana. So page 17. So the objective of this Karaniya Metta Sutta, or all the meditation practice, is to reach nibbana and to reach calm. So this is we call right view. So actually the Eightfold Path is all mentioned in this Karaniya Metta Sutta. So then there's some prerequisite. You know that, okay, I want to have loving kindness, I just have good thoughts to do, and that's it. Right? You need to have a lot of things. So things like your character-wise, you should be able, upright, perfectly upright, obedient, gentle, humble. So you need to have all these virtues, and you have more than that. Then the second paragraph, contented, easily supportable, not a burden to others. So this easily supportable. Okay, how many of you are working? Only two, three. Okay, so the rest are not working. So you also live independent on the support of others, maybe your children or whoever, right? Yeah. Pension. Okay, pension or maybe children. Yeah. So in a way, very similar to the monks also. The monks have to live dependent on the lay supporters. So the instruction here, easily supportable, is for those who are living on the good faith of others. That means don't demand too many things. Then the next one, we feel duties. This one you have to moderate your own. Feel duties. So if let's say a retreat setting, very easy to say, nothing to do, very easy to improve your meditation. So a lot of people, usually after meditation, they go back home and back to square one. Everything lost. Everything the meditation retreat all lost. So that's the problem. So you need to find your own moderation, how to apply whatever you learn in your retreat, in your daily life. If you can maintain the peace, very good. You can improve better. So the whole idea is the retreat is just starter only. Starter only. You start the engine only. You haven't traveled the journey. Haven't even traveled. So the real traveling begins in your daily life. In your daily life. In this right mindfulness, this Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha mentioned, if a person is very hardworking, you need 7 days. For those who are very talented, 7 days continuously before you can reach some result, this non-return or enlightenment. So this retreat only how many days? 2 days not enough. So the rest of the work actually is your daily life. Yeah, your daily life, throughout your daily life, how much effort you put in, how much mindfulness you put in. So the effort is not about, okay, I'm at home, I don't want to do anything, lock myself in the room, then just meditate the whole day, right? Which is some misconception. So before I ordained, I also thought the same. I thought become monk means more time to meditate, just meditate. End up becoming a monk in a monastery, a lot of duties, area cleaning lah, then storeman IC lah, storeman IC, then some monk in charge of reciting this Patimokkha lah. Luckily, I just one monk here, if not I need to recite the Patimokkha. So there are duties for monks to memorize the precept and chant a few hundred precepts without looking at the book. So there are stuff like that. So there are duties, like schooling, and some monks have workshop duties, make furniture and stuff like that. So you need to balance. You need to be practical. You need to run the place, right? So you need to run the place. Everybody share duty. So you need to do it in a way that you can find peace. Not you keep on doing until you get so frustrated, right? So we talk about this in the who attended the compassion fatigue talk. And the rest never attend. Okay, so it's about moderation. How much good thoughts you generate versus how much you really do, right? So you need to find the balance. Okay, then this one. Simple in livelihood, basically for yours is the honest livelihood. Control in senses. Okay, so this one is a bit tough. This one is like meditation. Control in senses. So we have the 6 senses. Your eye, your ear, your nose, tongue, and the mind, body and the mind. So sounds a bit like primary school. So primary school teach you can hear, you can see. But they just stop there. So in Buddhism, we say that if we are not mindful, we see something nice only, wow, so nice, I want some more, you crave. Or the taste so nice, you want some more. Or the sound so nice, you want some more. So this is called not controlling. You are not controlling the senses. Either you have greed or hatred. Not controlling. So the controlling here require very high level skill. Very high level skill. So whatever sound, whatever contact you have, you need to prevent this greed and hatred from arising. So let's say we go from a top-down approach. So the top-down approach is you have right thought, the right reflection. So definitely you have skillful thought, that means you have no unskillful thought. So this is level 1. If you cannot do this, then we say you refrain, avoid. Avoid seeing, avoid hearing and stuff like that. So that's why you have all those precepts, right? So avoid having contact with entertainment and stuff like that, so you won't create unnecessary this craving. Yeah, so that's why you look at the Buddha image, always control in senses, eyes looking downwards. You try your eyes looking downward versus eyes looking around. See what's the difference. Okay. Then next, discreet, not impudent, not greedily attached to families. So basically, live simply. So this one meant for those who are being supported, not greedily attached to families. Okay, then the next page, you should not commit any slight wrong, such that other wise men might censure him. Right, so basically your conduct have to be good. Yeah, have to be good moral conduct. So in this case, basically observe your precepts, because the precepts are enlisted or taught down by the Buddha. Then this one comes to execution. May all beings be happy and secure. May their hearts be happy. Okay, so the original sutta teaching on loving kindness is straight away wish all beings happy and secure. Straight away wish all beings. So I'm aware that there's now the popular trend like Ami Ui and the Metta chant, and you first wish yourself well and happy, then you wish your loved one, then you wish the strangers, then you wish your enemies, something like that, right? We try not to go there. If we want to practice the more original form, is more of this, may all beings be happy. So this is the original method. So the rationale of not doing that, the one wishing your loved one and stuff like that, is that we talked about this thing called indirect enemies. Imagine loving kindness, the middle way. One extreme is greed, one extreme is hatred, right? We have the two extremes and the middle way. So the extreme of the hatred is anger. So loving kindness is meant to overcome anger, which is very clear cut. Then we have this indirect enemy, which is loving kindness contaminated with greed, contaminated with attachment. So this one, a lot of people are not aware. So things like we wish ourselves or we wish our loved one, very high chance is this one. We call this personal affection. No more loving kindness. So this one, not much difference from people go to temple and pai. Then they wish your family ping an, heng heng, good luck. So normally, people that go temple and pai, they are practicing this personal affection. How many of people you know of, they go temple and pai, wish all beings were happy one. Wow, wish all beings free from suffering. I haven't come across anybody yet, unless you're the practitioner. If not, most people is just wish their own self, their own friend, their own family, well. So there is attachment, there is certain boundary, there is restriction. So for those who want to start off with that, you will generate that emotion. So we can do an experiment. So if let's say you wish your family and loved one were happy, see what kind of emotion you have. Can? Got some emotion maybe? Who know emotion? Or no robot? Okay, so okay, then now we are going to wish all beings were happy. Then you see what's the emotion. Got difference? Got difference, okay. Yeah, so when we cultivate this loving kindness, we are aiming for this one, or something closer to this one. We are not perfect yet, so there will be some defilement, but at least this closer. Yeah, so so if we were to spend too much time on this one, this personal affection, then it becomes personal affection meditation, no more loving kindness meditation. Especially if you have a lot of friends. My social media account got a few thousand friends. So I meditate, wish all my friends were happy one by one, wish. Then imagine I spend 2 hours personal affection meditation. Then the mind is no longer neutral, no longer middle way. So we start off with this one, the safest way. This one is, page 18. May all beings be happy and secure. Yeah, so this one is the original sutta is to wish all beings were happy, right? So this is the boundless loving kindness. So the 4th paragraph talks about the definition of all beings. You don't have to purposely go and imagine what is this. So whatever living beings they are, feeble or strong, long, stout or medium, short, small or large. And then continue. Those seen or unseen, those dwelling near or far, those who are born, those who are to be born, may all beings without exception be happy-minded. So that's trying to define what are all beings. We have no idea how to visualize unseen beings, right? And we have no idea all the species of insects, how they look like. How many of you know all the animal kingdom, all the insects, all the reptiles, don't know, right? So we have no idea how all sentient beings look like. So everything actually generates from perception, your mental formation. So when you practice loving kindness, when we wish all beings well and happy, it is not to make them well and happy, It is to make peace with our own mind first. It's to cultivate a boundless mind. So if I can wish all beings well and happy and suddenly all the world war end, all the war end, all the COVID end, that means whatever you wish can come true. That means you're more powerful than the Deva already. So it's not meant to be this purpose. So this loving kindness is to cultivate yourself to overcome this aversion. So that's the purpose. Okay, then page 19. Let no one deceive another, nor despise any person, whatever in any place in anger or ill will. Let one not wish any harm to another. Right, so basically this avoid unwholesome states of mind. So loving kindness is to overcome anger. So if we overcome ill will, we should not generate ill will. So this is part of right effort, right thought and right effort. So the 7th paragraph. Just as a mother would protect her only child at the risk of her own life, even so, let him cultivate a boundless heart towards all beings. So this is very interesting. So this statement, most people will interpret loving kindness equals to mother's love to their child. Mother's love to their child. But based on this context, the audience are moms, they are not mothers. So there's a problem. So they have no idea what is this mother's love. So this case is more like an analogy. The mother will not let go of the child. So basically the instruction here is the practitioner should not let go of the thought of loving kindness. So the loving kindness is like as though your close child. You should not let go of this thought. This is my interpretation. Even so, let him cultivate a boundless heart towards all beings. Let his thoughts of boundless love pervade the whole world, above, below, and across, without any obstruction, without any hatred, without any enmity. So these are the directions. Above, below, and all across, all directions. So without any obstruction. Right? So the cheap or the smart way to do it is to not push the mind. So we wish all beings are happy, front, back, behind. Some people or most people will want to push the mind and try to feel the front and stuff like that. Once we have resistance only, that means there is a boundary. There is a certain boundary. So we have a gentle wish, we wish all beings, all directions are happy. We don't go and push the mind. So when there's no pushing, then there's no resistance. So it's just a wish, and then naturally the mind is more sublime. We don't create or generate this craving. So the craving is the obstruction. So we do not crave, just a gentle wish, and then however far the mind will expand, let it be. Let it be. Doesn't matter wide or small area, large or doesn't matter. You just have perception, all beings, all directions, well and happy. Okay, so page 20. Whether he stands, walks, sits or lies down, as long he is awake, he should develop this mindfulness. And this, they say, the highest conduct here. Right? So this is part of the right mindfulness in the Satipatthana Sutta. The mindfulness of the body. One of them mentioned about in all posture, standing, sitting, walking, lying down, and if you want to further extend all activities, drinking, wearing your clothes, going to the washroom, whatever you do, you still can practice mindfulness. Yeah? So some people say, I have no time to meditate. So after you hear this, you have no excuse to say you have no time to meditate. Every moment is a time to meditate. As long as you're awake, you have the opportunity to create wrong thought or right thought. Yeah? Thoughts of greed or hatred, or thoughts of this non-greed, non-hatred. Yeah? So like loving kindness, impermanence, whatever you want to contemplate. Right? So if you sit down, you close your eyes, does that mean you won't have any wrong thought? Yeah? Still there's an opportunity for wrong thought and right thought. And so the same, you open your eyes, also the mind is the same function. Yeah, you get up, you stand up, the mind is still the same function. So when we are cultivating, we are not cultivating sitting, we are cultivating the mind, this noble eightfold path, the right thought and this right mindfulness and everything. Okay, then they say the highest conduct here. So if a person have no ill intention, then they won't break the precept. So same briefing as the morning. So if the person always generate loving kindness, how to break the precept? Yeah, they have no intention, they do not fulfill the intention. So whatever they do, most probably is accidental. Okay. Then number 10, not falling into wrong views, virtuous and endowed with insight. It gives up attachment to sensuous desires. Okay, so to overcome wrong view and overcome attachment, you need insight meditation. Need insight. So in this case, the insight routine will be mindful of impermanence. Mindful of impermanence. So nowadays, a lot of people have a lot of misunderstanding of insight. Because of different schools of Buddhism, they specialize in a particular form of insight, and then people assume, that is insight meditation. Other kind of practices is not called insight, which is not like that. So if we go back to this Satipatthana Sutta, the four foundation of mindfulness, one of them is called mindfulness or states of mind. Cittanusati, mindfulness of states of mind. So in this particular segment, the Buddha teaches about the different cognitive functions. So one of them talk about a restricted mind. Restricted mind. So even in a restricted mind, one can observe arising and passing away. So let's say a person wants to watch the breath wherever they want to place their attention, they want to watch rising and falling. That fulfills that category, right? So that is one function of the mind. Then there's another function of the mind, knowing a mind whether it's expanded or not expanded. So in this case, this loving kindness is expanded mind. You wish all beings, all directions went. So this expanded mind. So in this expanded mind, according to the Satipatthana, one can also observe arising and passing away, which is also another kind of insight. Then during the interview, someone was asking me about certain other cognitive function. Then I introduced this open awareness. So we call this the non-restricted mind. Non-restricted mind. Restricted mind means your mind focus on one thing, one area. Like some people want to focus on the breath, or they focus on reading the book. So it's focused area. But there is another cognitive function where the mind is just relaxed, just basically 做无啦, do nothing. So when the mind is the most natural state, the most natural function, also can practice mindfulness. When the mind is relaxed, we let the mind autopilot, and the mind is sort of running around. One can also observe how this attention, how it arises and passes away. So this is called the open awareness concept. So I think certain Vipassana schools, they are teaching this also, open awareness. They tell you, no object, no object. So actually it's open awareness. The mind is open, and whatever comes, they just observe how it arises and pass away. So there's another cognitive function. So the mind has many functions. You cannot have one function throughout the whole day 24/7. So different day you need different state of mind. You cross the road, you need to have expanded mind state. You cannot just watch the breath then you langgar accident. So different activity you need different function. So whatever function you use, you also need to practice detachment. So sometimes it's good to maybe practice a few styles, so you know a few stance, and whatever you're engaged with next time, then you know how to practice detachment. So that's the idea. Last line. Truly, he does not come again to be conceived in the womb. So this is a very high attainment. So this one basically, according to other suttas, it is possible one can reach this nibbana, enlightenment, arahanthood. And of course, some people may interpret, metta cannot reach nibbana one. So that, okay, we give them discount. So if not arahant, they become non-returner. Non-returner also never come back to the womb, somewhere in the heavenly realm, pure abode, right? Then if they're still not happy, then never mind. Still, we have this once returner. Once returner, certain sensual deva realm, that also considered. So anyway, this is still a safe practice. So we talk about this, and because this chanting book don't have the other Mettang Sutta which I introduced, so we are going to just straight away skip to this the other page where we talk about this Bojjhanga, page 30. Okay, so just now we read through this Bojjhanga. The later pages, like page 31 onwards, we treat it as bonus. Yeah, that's right. This the IBOE version.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is actually not from the sutta actually. Not from the sutta. So if you research and find the source, it's not from the sutta. Somebody have invented it somewhere down the line. Okay, but never mind. Okay, so we go to page 30 again, this Bojjhanga Paritta. Okay, so if you go to page 31 onwards, we treat it as bonus. Please do not treat Bojjhanga as a cure for illness. I got sickness or got COVID. Okay, don't see doctor, just practice. Go practice your Bojjhanga, right? No. This one is bonus. If you cure, then good for you. If not, then the whole idea of this Bojjhanga is more of internal detachment. Internal detachment. So, are you a medical doctor, by the way? Yeah. Or retired? Okay, but still a medical doctor, right?
Dentist.
Dentist. Okay, yeah. So, medical knowledge can. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So these 7 factors is essential for meditation. It's part of this right mindfulness. In the right mindfulness, you can find it in the mindfulness of the Dhamma, the 4th foundation of mindfulness. So one of them will mention this Bojjhanga factor. So why is this mentioned? Because this one is the gateway to entering the stream. The gateway to entering the stream. But my theme here is going against the stream. so the stream here is a different definition, different context. So the like when people say enter the stream, they are stream referring to stream entry. Is these path and stages to the sainthood. The stream which I'm using for the theme is the stream of desire, stream of craving. So it's a different context altogether. So these 7 factors are basically like a chain reaction. You need to fulfill certain things before you trigger other factors. So I'm just going to look through what are the 7 factors. Okay, you can look at this, the second line, mindfulness, investigation of the Dhammas, effort. Okay, so these first 3 factors are basically the prerequisite before the others can continue. If a person just listen to Dhamma talk and just reflect once only. Oh yeah, this speaker makes sense, or this Dhamma teacher makes sense. You just think for 1 second, doesn't work. Nothing, these 7 factors won't happen. But if you have this thing called effort, that means you continue and continue and continue, then something may trigger. So I always like to give an example of, ancient cavemen, how they start fire. They take these sticks and then they rub. Then when the conditions are right, you see some smoke or some spark or something, then fire will start. Yeah, so the cavemen don't just rub once and stop, okay? Right? Then nothing will happen. You need to keep rubbing until the fire starts. Okay, so this analogy is talking about this mindfulness, investigation of Dhamma, and effort. So when you keep rubbing non-stop, you're using effort. You do not stop, no matter what happens. That means continue to generate this right effort, right thought. Yeah? So this right thought is thinking of impermanence, investigation of the Dhamma. Yeah? So the investigation of Dhamma is one stick, mindfulness is the base, the other stick, and you need to keep on rubbing. Yeah? So this mindfulness here is mindfulness of impermanence. Not mindful of the weather, mindful of the stock market, mindful of the political news, not that kind of mindfulness. So we have this very circular kind of mindfulness, and we also have this right mindfulness. A lot of times in the Buddhist community, I'm not sure whether you hear this, very common. Like for example, if let's say I forget to bring something out, I forget to bring my, example, you forget to bring your keys out, then your Buddhist friend will tell you, hey, no mindfulness. I have, right? Yeah, so, or you, let's say you very careless, you trip and fall, no mindfulness. Yeah? So this is actually referring to circular mindfulness. Circular mindfulness. We are not training for this. It is good to have circular mindfulness for your own safety, for your efficiency in your work and stuff like that. Essential, yes, true. But it doesn't bring you to liberation. A person can be very good in their work, very high KPI, high performance, do everything very well, help to make a lot of money for the company. But if they do not have right mindfulness, they get very easily depressed, get very frustrated, and very unhappy. Yeah, so there's the difference. So vice versa, if a person has too much right mindfulness and no circular mindfulness at all, then always get into trouble. Always fall down, get an accident. You hear of monks in the sutta, they're enlightened, they died in the forest or whatever reason, out of accident. Okay, so you need to be careful. Okay, then the next one is joy. Okay, so if you fulfill these 3 criteria, mindfulness, investigation of Dhamma, and effort, then this, when the conditions are right, you think of impermanence, and if let's say you have detachment, then this Dhamma joy will arise, naturally by itself. You cannot force out the joy one. You cannot fake out the joy. You cannot say, I want to cultivate joy now. I want to cultivate joy. It won't happen. Yeah, so this joy is a natural effect, it's a byproduct from the first 3 you do. So if let's say a person think of these impurities of the body, right, think of impermanence, it's like, wow, so joyful. Maybe this is, if let's say you think of impermanence, then there's a high chance you're having this Dhamma joy, related to the Dhamma. So joy have circular joy also, like you eat your favorite ice cream, I have this, or you go watch a movie, go for holiday, there's circular joy, mundane joy. So it's very different from this Dhamma joy. Dhamma joy is detachment. Whereas mundane joy is dependent of craving. You want something that is fulfilled, that you're happy about it. Whereas this Dhamma joy is through detachment, you let go, then suddenly it come up by itself. And this joy, the intensity range, depending on your spiritual faculties. Depending on how much concentration you have, sometimes the joy can be like very weak, very little joy. Sometimes can be very intense, sometimes like static or like goosebumps or whatever it is. So different people have different intensity depending on your spiritual faculty, depending on your faculties at that moment. Yeah, so it may vary from time to time. So do not expect I got this amount of joy today. The next sitting I want to have this amount of joy again. No, it may not happen the same. So if let's say you want to practice mastery, you want to practice attachment and detachment, and you want to see the process. Because of many repeated trials, you may have certain similarities, may have certain similar results, but every session, every time you enter, may not be the same. So that's the idea. Okay. Then you have this thing called tranquility. So this joy is not permanent. So after some time, whatever hormones from that joy pass out, then one will have tranquility. The mind will calm down. We call this tranquility. Then the next effect will be concentration. So this concentration is not the jhana concentration. So this is kind of vipassana, a kind of insight concentration. A kind of insight concentration. For jhanas, let's say if a person wants to enter first jhana, they need to enter the jhana first to experience joy. Before they enter concentration, no joy. Whereas this one is the opposite. This one is you have joy first before the concentration. So it's tobadek. So this vipassana kind of samadhi happens if you keep on reflecting on impermanence. Keep on reflecting on impermanence. Yeah, so you keep on reflecting, then the mind, eventually you have this thing called equanimity. Equanimity. So the mind not easily shaken. Any ups and downs in life, not easily shaken. Yeah? So from these 7 factors, a person may not need to have jhanas to achieve these 7 factors of enlightenment. Yeah? And if a person does have jhana, a person can enter every level of jhana and also activate these 7 factors of enlightenment. Because this one, you need to investigate the Dhamma. So one of the states of mind, this Citta-Nusati, a concentrated mind and unconcentrated mind. So if a person is in concentration, one can also observe arising and passing. Yeah, so if they observe and investigate, then suddenly you trigger, may trigger these 7 factors of enlightenment. So some people, if let's say example, if they enter the 4th level of concentration, which is equanimity, then they investigate, then suddenly they have joy. So this joy is not the jhana joy. So this joy is these 7 factors of enlightenment joy. So it's very different. Okay, so just for your info only. Okay, so these are the 7 factors, and this thing is not permanent now. Some people think, okay, now I'm going to hate, I want to target joy. So after joy, then next I want to target tranquility, then target, then what? Imagine if let's say they target equanimity already. Then they think, okay, that's it, that's the end, that's enlightenment. No, not yet enlightenment. These are just symptoms, a byproduct, passing landmarks to tell you you're on the right track. That's all. So when my team going against the stream, if a person experience any of the 7 factors and they think that's it, they start to relax and they forget to put in effort, they start to forget putting in mindfulness or impermanence, then everything will go back to square one. The current will, the stream of desire will flush you back to the original point, the starting point, where you're out of, start from beginning, like nowhere. So you need to restart again. So the whole idea is, no matter what happened, keep rowing. And this stream is a long journey. It's not like one-off, okay, I practice one time, then I can achieve the goal. No. It's a long stream. So that's why even in the right mindfulness, The Buddha initially mentioned 7 years, which is a bit sounds tedious for you all. So the Buddha give discount until 7 days. If you are really hardworking or talented, 7 days. If you are continuous, mindful of impermanence all the time, even this thing doesn't matter. It may go up and down sometimes. You're not mindful. You have greed again. Then you're aware. The peacefulness is gone, the joy is gone. Never mind. Then you continue always mindful impermanence. Then you understand the phenomena. When does it trigger which factor? When it doesn't trigger the factor, then you have clear understanding. So this is more of experiential, hands-on kind of thing. So I've gone through the theory with you all. Hopefully there's some time for Q&A. Any questions you want to ask?